Okay, a lot of you guys were thinking I'm going to write a blog about what took place Saturday on the Saginaw Bay. I'm not going to write a blog. A lot of my blogs are long enough as they are. I hear people, they're like, dude, your blogs are so long. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But, you know, I write those blogs, man, to bring hope to a world that I believe needs some hope. And I remember back when I thought I was hopeless. Anyways, the point is this. I picked up my father-in-law. My father-in-law come over Friday afternoon after work and spent the night. Saturday morning, we were so excited to get out on the Saginaw Bay. And I have fished the Saginaw Bay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. I know the water extremely well. I know the areas extremely well. And we get out there and we rode up to Linwood, and on the way up there we were like two 6-year-old kids. We were clapping and we were laughing, and meanwhile, you know, he's 66 and I'm 43, but yet we're acting like we're about 5 and 6 years old because we're stoked to get up there and get on fish. So we get up to Linwood Marina, put the boat in, tie it off, fire up the boat, let it warm up, turn on the units, man, and now we take off. Now I'm telling him on the way up there that when we get up there, we're going to go out to some rock piles in front of the Linwood Marina that not many people know about, and we're going to pound some smallmouth. And I look out there when we launched our boat, and there was whitecaps, and I'm thinking, well, it's getting a little rough out there. We get out there, we're in the front of the marina and just outside the buoys, I don't know, man, several hundred yards, and we get out to a rock pile and we fish it for a little bit and nothing's happening. You know, I don't know, 50, 60 casts, nothing's happening. And if I don't catch a fish within 50 or 60 casts, then them fish, they're not there. So I says to my father-in-law, I said, hey, bro, I said, put everything away, dude. We're going over to the other side. I said, we're going over to Pinconning Cut. Now, you're going to be looking for a thing called the Pinconning Cut on the maps. It doesn't exist. That's just what we call it. I'm not going to tell you the name of the places that we go and catch our fish, just in case we might be fishing against one another one day. So we get out there and we're about 5.5, maybe no more than 6 miles away from shore. And the waves are 4-footers, and now they're 5-footers, and they're beating us, and we're not going that fast. We were being safe. I've been out there in a lot worse conditions. Next thing I know, my boat just was a lag of power. It was getting waterlogged, and I turn around and my motor is a lot lower than what it normally is. I made sure the jack plate was all the way up. I made sure that the motor was trimmed all the way up, and it was. But it was still extremely low in the water. And my dad, he says, "What's going on, bub?" And I said, I don't know. I turned the motor off, and I go down there and I open up the hatch. And when I opened up the back hatch, I looked in there, and all I could see was water. All my batteries, everything was underneath the water. And I said, Dad, we're sinking, bro. He said, boats don't sink. I said, yeah, they do. They sink every day, and get ready, because this one is going to sink on us. I walk up to the front of the boat, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, this is horrible. I go back to the back side of the boat, and now I'm at the console, and water's up to my knees. I open up the glove compartment. I grabbed out my phone. I had to call the marina. I'm like, well, I better call somebody, dude. We're fixing to sink here. And I call the marina. I didn't even know the number, so I Googled it. So I Googled Linwood Marina's number, and I get the number. I hit send. I call them. I said, listen, this is Billy P. Just left you guys not all that long ago. We're out by Pinconning Bar. It's just an area of the water. Obviously, this recovering alcoholic wasn't at a bar, but I says we're out at Pinconning Bar, near Pinconning Bar, and I'm sinking. And here's my GPS coordinates. I give him the GPS coordinates. I go back to the glove compartment, and I see that there's a bag in there. And I don't believe that that's a coincidence. That bag was there because I needed that bag to keep this phone dry, because I was going to need this phone because my boat was fixing to sink. So I put the phone inside the bag, and I go up to the top of the boat. And my father-in-law, he gets up there, and he's just like, "Wow, man, I can't believe this." So the boat's like this, and then the back end goes down, and then it starts tilting like this. And when it started tilting like this, and the nose was up in the air, it was like the Titanic. I looked over at my father-in-law. He said, Billy, you're right. I said, get ready, dude. Here we go. Now all of a sudden, poosh, we're in the Saginaw Bay. Now, we're in there bobbing around, man, and the boat flips upside down, and it capsizes. Just a little bit of the bottom of the hull is sticking up. It looked like about the size of a jet ski. And my father-in-law's, you know, he's thrashing in the water, and I hurry up, and I get up on top of that boat. And my father-in-law, he's trying to get up on that boat. It took him everything he had to get on that boat. Me and him exchanged some words, and finally, man, he gets up on that boat. And when he gets up on that boat, his back is facing mine, and I said, thank God. He said, what did you say? I said, thank God. He said, why would you say that? I said, look around, man. What do you see, Dad? He said, I see all of my crap floating in the Saginaw Bay. And I said, you're right. And all my crap is sinking to the bottom of the Saginaw Bay currently. I said, but praise God, dude, man. You know what? We're alive, dude. We didn't drown. So we're sitting on top of this boat now, and it's upside down, and it doesn't ride all that good when it's upside down. 5-foot waves are coming behind me. It's grabbing my father-in-law and blowing him off the side of the boat. I reach down and grab him up again, man, and put him on top of that boat. And I'm screaming. I see some boats way, way off in the distance. I'm hollering. They can't hear me, and they finally seen me. Well, by the time they finally come over to get us, I said to myself, I'm going to have to take some pictures of this. And I mean, that's what we do, right? We take pictures. Facebook's all about pictures. And I'm not much about a selfie guy, but when it comes to hunting, yes, you see them. And today, yes, you see this. And so I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I can get this phone out quick enough to take some pictures. I said, nobody is going to believe the crap that is going on right now. So I get my phone out, I take some quick pictures, I put it back in, these guys show up. Now these guys are set up, man, to walleye fish, and they're extremely good, and they know what they're doing because of the boat, the setup that they have. So when they show up and they are in an area where you can try to catch walleye all day long, you'll never catch a walleye where they were at. Where they were at, man, is a very well-known spot for perch. You can fish it forever and not catch a walleye there. They show up, they get us in their boat, and they said, you know, we've been fishing for the past 4 hours, and we've only caught one sheephead. And I looked at them and I said, well, congratulations. Now you just landed 2 suckers. And we're laughing, and I'm trying to make the best out of it as my boat is sunk and all my stuff is at the bottom of the Saginaw Bay. And I'm thinking, that's okay. You know what? That's what insurance is for. So we make it back into the marina. When we show up in the marina, everybody was there. The police were there. The fire department was there. Search and rescue was there. The ambulance was there. And they made sure we were okay. We said, yeah, and they leave. Well, now I call Progressive. And I said, hey, you know, I telling them what happened, and they got back with me, and they said, you know what, Mr. Pfeiffer? You're right. Your boat has had full coverage with all of your equipment for your tournament fishing for the past 4 years. However, it expired May 24th. And I'm like, oh my Lord, that is so not good. So now I'm thinking, well, I went out to Saginaw Bay today and I dropped about $30,000 worth of equipment in the bottom of that bay. And then when the tow people showed up, they gave me a $4,000 tow bill because it's $200 a foot. So 20-foot boat, $4,000 bill. And I'm thinking, man, this is crazy. This is horrible. Work's been slow. This is just so not good. But I took it with good spirit. I made laughter about it. I didn't let it get me down. I didn't frown on it. I didn't say, oh, poor me. I didn't say, you know what, I think I'm going to go crack me a 40-ouncer. I didn't say, man, I got to go to the bar. I didn't go home and speak to my wife horribly. I didn't go home and yell at my kids for being kids. It is what it is. It was an accident. It happened. I learned that, you know what, I better make dang skippy that my insurance is current on my boat every year now, like I thought it was. Obviously, it wasn't. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, something good's got to come out of this. I don't know what, but something good's got to come out of this. That happened on Saturday. Sunday, I was preaching at Sacred Heart, and I didn't have a sermon prepared, and I didn't even know what I was even going to preach about. And a lot of the times, I don't know what I'm going to preach about. God brought it to my attention that my sermon that Sunday was going to be about in the book of Matthew. The book of Matthew, when the 12 get on the boat and they cross to the other side with Jesus in the front, and they get out there, man, and the waves are beating on them, and they start, and the winds are just swirling, and they're tripping out. They're like, dude, we're gonna die, we're gonna drown, yada 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 yada. They wake up with JC. They're like, Jesus, wake up, and he's up there sleeping with his head on a pillow, and he says, lifts up his hands and he calms the winds and he calms the waves, and he looks at them and he says, O ye of little faith. You see, I was able to get a profound sermon out of an accident, out of a tragedy, out of a bad moment, whatever you want to call it. I didn't know the sermon was going to cost me about 34 grand, but apparently it did. And hey, that's okay. My point is this. I don't have to ask God today to calm the waves. And I didn't have to ask God to calm them winds out there on that bay. I asked God to calm my emotions. I asked God to calm everything that's inside of me. And he did it. That's why we didn't panic. That's why we got up on that boat. That bay takes people's lives every year. It ain't taking this one. I believe in God's perfect timing, and I believe that that's why them two fishermen were out there. Supposedly walleye fishing, but apparently they were sucker fishing because they caught me and my father-in-law. And for that, I'm extremely grateful. You know, I don't need to push God on anybody. However, I know this. I know that today we live in a world that's crazy. Everybody seems to be in a rush to get somewhere fast, to get nowhere. We're nasty to one another. We have waves crashing on every single one of us every single day. And the waves that crash on us today, they're called the waves of life. It's called finances. It's called marriage. It's called parenting. It's called employability. All of those things. And there's many, 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 many more waves that crash on us. And you know what? For the people who know who God is, and for the people who know that they know who God is, they don't have to worry about it because it's the calmest that it's ever been. It's for the people who don't know who God is. They are the ones that might want to just ask God to help them out, man, with these waves. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I tried every way possible without him, and it never worked out. I ended up living in a tent. Yeah, it's Detroit. My buddy Al's place at Ace Marina Services. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if we can just salvage this motor. Once again, thank God, my motor's saved. I'm looking for another boat to put it on. There you go. I put the drain plug in. We took on way much more water than we could handle, and we sank. That's the story. Bye.